Hi everyone, my name is Malia, and in this video I'm going to be discussing the process of making cheese. Cheese is very prevalent in the United States in the American diet, and it is derived from milk. Cheese is basically the coagulation of milk, and the milk can originate from various different types of animal. The cheese making process is only comprised of a few steps, but these steps can vary depending on the type of cheese. The first step in the cheese making process is to start with raw milk. Once you've obtained your raw milk, you must heat the milk to initiate the separation of casein and whey proteins. You must also heat it to at least 145 degrees Fahrenheit to kill all unwanted bacteria. This is a process called pasteurization. Once the milk is heated, you will start to see the formation of two distinct layers. One will be the coagulate, or the casein protein, and the other will be the discarded whey protein, or the liquid. The curd, also known as the coagulant, is what we want for our cheese. Now that we have the curd, we separate the curd from the whey in different bowls and then salt the curd to taste. Separation is done in a few different ways depending on the desired amount of water you want remaining in your cheese after it is done being processed. So the first method is cutting, which is slicing the curd and then placing it through strainers. So that just removes a small amount of the water. Next would be heating, which encourages more evaporation of the whey. There's also salting. Salt removes water from a lot of things, so putting salt will help also evaporate some of the liquid. Kneading is another method, which is where the curd is melted into a solid mass using heat. And then finally, there is pressing, which is to create a solid mass of curd, which is typically used for cheeses such as mozzarella. This is when the curd is physically pressed into a compact mass, removing excess water. Different cheeses have a different percentage of water content, which is dependent on their separation method. For example, cheeses such as cottage cheese or cream cheese are over 80% water and considered fresh cheeses. And on the other end, very hard cheeses, such as Parmesan and Romano cheeses, are only about 30% water. Finally, storing cheese is dependent on the type of cheese and the type of flavor you want to develop. The longer it is aged, the more flavor develops and the drier the cheese becomes just due to evaporation. Cheeses can be aged anywhere from a few days to a few years. However, cheeses with higher moisture content, such as fresh cheeses, tend to have a shorter shelf life since they have such a high quantity of moisture than those with less moisture. Therefore, they cannot be aged.